Hello, 'tis I. Just letting you guys know I am sick, so if my voice sounds more nasally than normal, then that's why. But today we're gonna be doing something that I have not done in a long time, which I'm gonna make a video talking about somebody's video on me. And so this video is a response to a section of my video called Laughing at OC Thieves. And in that video, I talk about the topic of blackwashing. If you don't know what that topic is, I would recommend watching the video that I'm referring to, Laughing at OC Thieves. Should be linked in the description if I can remember. The video isn't specifically it's not the subject of the video isn't specifically blackwashing, but I do have a short section where I talk about blackwashing, and that's what this person, Maddie the 777, is talking about in that video. Without further ado, let's get on to the video.
Today we're going through one of Mushroom Girl's videos. So, in this video, she goes over how people were editing her characters. You see, I have nothing against what MG was doing when she was, talking about people stealing her characters. That's not good. You should never steal someone's character. That's scummy. That's bad. But there were some points in this video about blackwashing that, were pretty uneducated.
They weren't uneducated, they were just shit that you didn't personally agree with, which is fine. You're allowed to disagree with it, but you don't have to talk about how me having a personal opinion that's different from what most people believe is uneducated. Because having an unpopular opinion isn't a new thing. It's a thing a lot of people have, and while yes, unpopular opinions can be uneducated, a lot of the time they're just opinions, and it's not that big of a deal.
So yeah, I'm gonna go through this. And I know that I have no place to speak about this since I'm not black myself.
So you have no place to speak about this because you aren't black, but you're making a commentary video about it. If that's not the definition of a white savior, I do not know what is.
But many black creators have said the same thing about blackwashing and stuff, so.
That is not an excuse for your blatant contradiction. Just because the majority agrees with something does not mean it's right. That's called appealing to popularity, and it's not a good thing, especially in a commentary video where you're trying to prove someone wrong.
I just wanted to educate MG about that.
I, as an uneducated white person, am going to educate another uneducated white person on a subject about black people. You do see how this flawed mentality of only black people can have an opinion on black issues thing bites you in the ass. Someone being educated on a certain topic is not based on their race at all. It's based on how much research they've done or just how much they know about a topic, and that does not have anything to do with their race. Sure, of course, white privilege exists, meaning that a lot of white people won't be able to see white privilege as well as, people of color. And that's just a fact, but that doesn't mean that all white people should not be talking about black issues. That is not how that works. You have a very black and white mentality when it comes to this subject, and I think it's very, very uneducated, which is really funny.
Okay, let's begin.
Washing is because people don't do it for the purpose of getting black representation.
Okay, so first point, black people actually edit characters to see themselves in the media that they're trying to be in.
Then why don't they make a fan character? And you may be saying, oh, well, fan characters aren't canon to the universe they're in. Neither are the characters' race-bended version that you created of them and posted on Twitter. It's literally the same thing, just one is better at doing its job.
It's not only just for representation.
You imply that what you were just talking about wasn't representation when it is. If you want to see yourself in media, you want to see your race being represented in that media. So it is for representation. I don't know what you're talking about. This may be kind of a nitpick, but it seems like this person is trying to pass off, well, it's self-representation or something like that as being a completely new topic from representation, when that's not the case, and it seems just kind of stupid.
Blackwashing cannot really be compared to whitewashing.
The fact that you're saying this in a video where you're talking about a specific person as if that specific person disagrees with the thing you just said is really fucking dishonest. Don't do that if you're making a video on somebody. I have never ever said that blackwashing and whitewashing were the same thing. I've never said that, and I usually make it a point to talk about how they are different from each other and how one is very clearly more harmful than the other. Almost any time I talk about blackwashing, why are you saying this as if I disagree? No shit. Whitewashing is more harmful than blackwashing by a long shot, and I've never ever not made that very clear.
Like, in any way. And, like, some people do use it for, like, to add more representation, but that's because, well, black people aren't really represented in media.
No fucking shit? Like, black people aren't as represented in media. Yeah, that doesn't make blackwashing a valid form of getting representation, though, because the entire point of what I was saying in that video was that people should make their own characters, because if you make your own OCs or fan characters, that directly actually contributes to representation for people of color, when blackwashing just gets you likes on Twitter and doesn't do anything other than, personal gain for the artist. It doesn't do anything for the black community as a whole.
As much as white people. And that's why they like make edits as like black people.
There being a motive for people doing this does not make that motive valid. You saying, oh, they do it because black people aren't represented in media and they're representing their race or whatever, that does not make that method of doing so valid.
In media, it's different with OCs, since, well, if you take an OC, that's kind of like a gray area, and you shouldn't really take someone's OC.
Why? What makes it a gray area?
Anyways.
I hate to break it to you guys, but changing a character's skin to be brown, oh my god, they're so progressive. No, it's literally not in any way helping representation.
Again, black people make edits of like canon characters to feel represented. It's not just for, to be progressive.
I mean, them as people of color wanting to be represented in media and therefore taking steps to do so is, by definition, progressive, whether they mean to or not. And I want to keep in mind, being progressive isn't a bad thing. I'm progressive. I think progression in society, especially when it comes to minorities being, represented, is great. I think that's perfect. I think that's awesome. But the issue here is that what these people are doing isn't actually contributing to that, yet they're on their high horse acting as if they're, like, about to solve racism. You haven't actually argued any reason why I'm wrong yet. You've literally just said, well, that's not the only reason. Here's another reason, which is basically the same, more specific version of the reason you gave. Like, you haven't actually made a compelling argument yet.
Of course, there's some cases where they are trying to be progressive. That's because, black people aren't that represented in media. And that's why media is trying to now put, like, black characters into shows. Like,
if it's not just about representation, like you said, why don't they just attach themselves to those characters? The characters that they, that you acknowledge that media was trying to put into their shows. Why don't they attach themselves to those characters? Like you said, it's not just about representation. So why can't they attach themselves to the already existing black characters? Like, this doesn't make any sense. If it's not just about representation, then just why do you care about how many black characters there are as long as there are black characters for you to attach yourself to? You said it wasn't just about representation, so why does the amount of black characters matter?
With She-Ra, they added a black character that wasn't originally white because companies are finally finding out that there should be more representation.
Now, while we're on this topic of, big corporations changing the race of their own characters for the sake of representation, I want to talk about stuff relating to that, and I want to talk about what, in my opinion, blackwashing is and isn't, just to kind of have, like, a clear definition of what I believe it is. First of all, well, yes, technically, that a big corporation changing their own character is blackwashing, it does actually affect representation because the character is now black. It's not like, oh, in that specific drawing the character is black, but, in the actual media it's white. No, the character is black now. That's just a fact. The character is black now. So that actually affects representation. Something that blackwashing isn't is headcanoning a raceless character to have a race. That's not blackwashing. Like, if you took a character, like an alien with, like, purple skin, and you were like, yeah, this character's black now because, I want this character to be black, so I headcanon them as black. That's fine. That's not blackwashing. That's just a headcanon. Blackwashing also isn't a black person cosplaying a white character. You can't choose your race. If you want to cosplay a white character but you want white, go ahead. Nobody cares. Asian people cosplay white characters all the time. Why can't black people do it? Like, literally, who cares? And anyone who has an issue with black cosplayers cosplaying white characters, who cares? Like, who cares? Obviously, doesn't do anything for representation, but it's usually not about representation. It's just about somebody wanting to dress up as a character. So I just wanted to make that quick distinction because I feel like people who, like, have this caricature in their head of people who, don't like blackwashing, they think that, like, people who don't like blackwashing think that, like, black cosplay white character, that's bad, or something like that. And I've kind of seen cases of people assuming that people with similar opinions to mine all think that, when that's not the case at all. We're really more reasonable than people think. Yes, there's definitely racists in the group of people who have this opinion, but that's not the majority. That's just the really loud minority of people going around attacking black creators because they changed the character's skin tone. Like, most of us are just normal fucking people. We're not racists, we're normal people who just have an opinion that's different to yours, and that's okay. We can coexist and be normal people, having normal opinions that differ from each other. It is not that big of a deal.
And you shouldn't really be talking about how progressive it is because you don't know what is.
What are you talking about? You act like white people are stupid. Like, what? Honestly, at this point, seeing as you think that blackwashing is the peak of black representation, I don't think you know what being progressive is.
Going on with the black creators, technically, because you're not experiencing what they're experiencing.
What are you gonna tell me next? That asexual people don't know what sex is? Just because you haven't experienced something doesn't mean you can't be educated on that topic. And just because you have experienced something doesn't mean that you are automatically educated on that topic.
Because, from what I know, you're Caucasian.
It's not. It is not like, people always say, oh, it's representation. No, you want to know what is representation? Like, making your own character black. If you take some big corporation's character, make them black, that's not gonna do shit because the character is still white and you're not gonna convince the character.
The thing is, black people do make their own projects and their own, like, thing.
I mean, yeah, obviously black people do in fact make black characters, but the people who are making black characters and are actually making, like, black media for people to enjoy, those are not the same people who are just going around taking anime characters and changing the skin color of them. Those are two different groups of people. Those are not the same. The people who are blackwashing are not the same people who are making good black media. And there's a reason for that, because one group of people is heavily uneducated and thinks that them changing the character's skin color lazily is just gonna solve racism one day.
But they're still in the minority, so it could take years to get proper representation that they deserve.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with blackwashing? Because blackwashing, like I've been trying to say this entire time, has nothing to do with actual good black representation. It's literally a single drawing that gets the artist likes on Twitter. It doesn't actually do anything for representation. So why does this discussion about, black people aren't gonna get representation for a while thing, why does that matter when this method isn't actually doing anything and it isn't actually getting people closer to getting that black representation?
And some black creators don't even, like, have the skills to make their own art.
Doll makers exist, picklers exist, bases exist. There are so many resources that you can use to make your own characters, yet these people ignore it because, screenshotting my favorite anime and then changing the color of the skin is totally just so much better, right?
So instead they make edits of canon characters to feel represented in the media. I don't know what to compare it to, but say, like, you headcanon, like, a character as your sexuality.
Sexuality is not something that shows up physically the same way that race does. Those are not comparable. Headcanoning a character to have a specific sexuality is a lot different than headcanoning a character to have a specific race, because race is something that shows up on your body and is something that most characters have a canon race. Obviously not all characters, like, if a character doesn't, is, an alien or something and doesn't have, a natural skin tone, then, yeah, they don't have races, which means it's fair game to guess whatever race you want, put whatever race you want on them, because it's fair game. But with a character that already has a race, most of them, if they have a natural skin tone, they usually have a canon race. But with sexuality, most characters don't have a canon sexuality. Even if you can maybe guess that a character is straight, that doesn't mean that that character is canonically straight. Especially because a lot of characters that have canon sexualities are characters that are already LGBT. Also, in the same way that blackwashing doesn't help black representation, headcanoning a character is gay does not help gay representation. It's just that, a headcanon. Plus, sexuality headcanons are usually done for the purpose of shipping.
Because you want to feel represented in the media. Of course, that's not really on the same level, but just put it into perspective.
Yeah, it isn't the same level, so why are you comparing them? You're not gonna convince the fucking character to turn black. Like, the character isn't gonna automatically in the canon turn black because you drew fan art of them being black. That's not how that
Again, they're not trying to convince the character to be POC. They're trying to, feel represented.
That sense that they're feeling of being represented due to their blackwashed drawing is false. It's not them actually being represented, it's them trying to feel represented for the 10 minutes it takes for them to make the edit and then post it to Twitter, and then they just get a bunch of likes from it. It's very obvious that a lot of people don't do this with their heart in the right place, and if they do, it's a false sense of feeling represented. It's nothing's actually happening.
And, some white people do make edits And that's kind of the gray area, because I don't know why you would want to do that, since it's mainly for feeling represented.
White people basically just do it to get attention on Twitter. That's literally the only reason why they do it. Well, yes, you can argue that black people may do it with their heart in the right place. White people just do it for the sake of Twitter likes. They don't actually care. They're literally just white saviors. Like, I've used that word a few times in this video, but really, they're white saviors. It's pretty plain and simple.
So, yeah.
That you want to know what is representation? Making a character that is black. Getting a character, making it from scratch, and it being black. Hell, if you really like the franchise that you're blackwashing.
Again, blackwashing isn't really a thing.
This may be a bit of a nitpick, but you say again as if you're repeating yourself when you're not. This is the first time you've ever said that blackwashing isn't actually a real thing.
Again, blackwashing isn't really a thing.
Now to address this actual point, yes it is. Sure, maybe blackwashing isn't the best name for it, but that's literally the only name that we have. Sure, you could use race bending, but race bending can go both whitewashing and blackwashing. So, blackwashing, it's pretty simple. Yes, I know that a lot of people may see that as comparing white and blackwashing, but that's not true. Like, I don't use the term blackwashing to compare it to whitewashing. I use the term blackwashing because honestly, we don't have any other term. And saying making black edits of, first of all, doesn't encompass all of blackwashing, but also it's just a fucking mouthful, and I don't want to say that every time I'm referring to blackwashing, so I'm just gonna use the term blackwashing because there's literally no other proper term to use.
There are many videos on YouTube about this by like Suman or Yuki Bun, so I'll link it in the description.
Honestly, most of the videos I've seen that are defending blackwashing are always just so redundant. They're always the same shit over and over and over and over again, and it's so annoying.
But blackwashing isn't a thing, and black edits of characters is just a harmless thing that like black watchers and black creators like to do.
Yeah, it's all harmless until you realize that a lot of people do blackwash to just capitalize off of the black community. And it's just, whether they're black or not, it's just really just not good. I feel like that's not a good thing, no matter your race.
And some don't have art skills, so they want to be represented in some way, so they make an edit of the character.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna recolor somebody else's work because, ooh, I don't have art skills. I wonder where I've heard that before. That's literally the same argument that tracers and recolorers use. Use a base, for crying out loud. Use a picklu, use a doll maker. I already said this. Characters from so much. Make your own character that's in that franchise. And make them black. Awesome, now you're solving the issue. Now you have your favorite show with your own OC. You know, you can put your own OC in there, and the character's black. Solves your fucking issue. Oh, I have this anime and they don't have any black characters. Well, cool. Make your own black character, put them in the universe, boom. Problem solved. People literally blackwash for validation. They do it because they want validation for people on the internet.
Okay, this is the point that makes me the most angry. So, in context, if the edit was made by a white person, then yes, that's probably the reason. But if it's made by another black creator, that's just messed up to say in so many reasons.
Whether somebody is an attention seeker or not literally has nothing to do with their race. What are you talking about? Like, are you literally telling me that white people, like, attention seek, but black people don't? What? It has nothing to do with race. Why are you making everything about race? People of all races can attention seek. It's a normal human behavior. What are you talking about?
Because, again, they don't have that much representation in media, and media is trying to fix that, and they're trying to fix that as well by making black edits.
But the entire point of that segment of my video was that it doesn't help representation. Like, you are totally missing the fucking point. Plus, does black people not being represented in media mean that they can't attention seek? What are you talking about?
And feeling represented and, seeing themselves in the character. You saying that they're doing that for validation is just messed up on so many levels, especially because you are not part of that minority group.
Ah, yes, it's messed up to say that people attention seek, because they do, especially when talking about a subject where people are saying that it's helping a community when it's really not, and the only thing it's doing is getting personal gain for the specific artist doing it. That's so messed up, isn't it, guys? When people make their own black character, people are like, okay, cool, awesome. But when people blackwash, all that's in the fucking comments is, oh my god, Yas Queen, you're so progressive. They want that. They want that validation.
Pardon me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen anybody comment anything like that.
It was a comedic over-exaggeration.
Maybe, like, white people commenting that, but POC, they probably, appreciate, being represented.
But they aren't really being represented. The character is still white. It just has brown skin in that specific drawing.
And, like, the art and edits, so I don't know what you're on about.
When they make those black characters, they don't get that validation. They care more about the validation than they do actually helping black representation.
Again, who are you to say that?
Because we all know that white person wrong, black person right. That's how shit works, and it's totally not complicated based on, people's knowledge of a concept. No. We all know that all white people are wrong and all black people are right. Right, guys?
You're not the one making the edits, and you're not the one commenting.
It's almost like I'm coming from an unbiased perspective. Obviously, people who do the thing aren't going to say, oh yeah, I'm totally attention-seeking, guys. Like, what? No, obviously, somebody who doesn't do the things that we're talking about here is gonna have to step in and give an unbiased perspective on the situation, because all the people who have been talking about blackwashing most of the time are people who either heavily support blackwashing or blackwash themselves. Obviously, we need someone on the opposite side that can actually give an unbiased perspective. What? Do you really expect people who are doing the thing that people are complaining about to give a genuine, actual, unbiased perspective on the situation? This genuinely pisses me off, because I know that those are the only people you're listening to. You're not listening to both sides of a situation. You're listening to one side of a situation based on their race, which is very flawed because, being knowledgeable on a concept is a lot more complex than black person right, white person wrong.
You're not the one who's being represented from those edits.
Which means that you're right and I'm wrong. You're also not the one being represented by those edits, so why the fuck are you talking? And if you disagree with me, awesome, you're allowed to. You're totally allowed to. I'm not the baseline for opinions. A lot of people will disagree with me, and that is totally fine. You
can have your own opinions, it's just...
You can have your own opinion, but I'm right and you're wrong, lol.
How you, explained it was very uneducated.
So this entire video was you breaking down my specific opinion and trying to prove it wrong. But now, my opinion is fine, actually, just the way I explained it was bad. It's almost like you're trying to save your ass so people don't call you out for blatantly just saying what's essentially just, you can have your own opinion, but you're wrong.
And I just wanted to, let you know, why people, do this. You could still not agree with it after, it's just, I felt like your reasoning was very uneducated and, that, that you just didn't know why people did it or not, and that,
no. The reason why I don't agree with blackwashing has nothing to do with me not knowing the reasoning. I know the reasoning. The issue is that people aren't being transparent about their reasoning. If anything, you don't know the reasoning. You're more uneducated than me by your own logic.
Yeah. Okay. So, to conclude, I really like MG's content. I sometimes listen to it while I draw. It's just in this video kind of just rubbed me the wrong way on how, like, they viewed blackwashing.
Oh, but also you can have your own opinion, but also I wasn't actually criticizing your opinion, I was just criticizing the way you were talking about it. Make up your mind, please! Also, I hope that this video works as some good, drawing background noise.
And, like, and stuff. Like, I love their content. It's just this video irked me the wrong way. And with their topic of changing OC's races, like someone's OC's, yeah, that you don't need to be represented in someone else's story if that's like their own personal thing.
Yeah, I do agree with this. I think that, changing a character, changing somebody else's personal OC, and fixing it for whatever reason is just scummy. Like, you come off as a douchebag, don't do that. But I think that also extends to big corporations characters. The only time I think that fixing a character from a big corporation's okay is if it's genuinely offensive, or if you're trying to give genuine, not shitty critique, like genuine critique. I've seen a lot of times where people have fixed characters from animes, and let's just say they made it worse.
But in the widespread media, like shows, TVs, or comics, people do like make black edits just to be represented. That's it. That's cool. And MG, if you're watching this, sorry if I came off a little like harsh on this.
Oh, trust me, you didn't come off as harsh. I think I'm the one who's coming off as harsh in this video. Your points were just really ass.
It's just your points were really, really uneducated.
Were they now?
Sorry about that. Anyways, bye.
So, what's the conclusion to this whole debacle? Well, first of all, there are a lot of factors that go into whether somebody's educated or not, and somebody's race does not have, it has a little bit to do with it, but not enough to use that as a sole factor to, say that somebody is educated just based on that. A lot of things are a lot bigger of factors that matter a lot more than race, like, maturity, how just generally smart someone is, how much research they've done, how much they just generally know about the topic. There's a lot more that, will shape somebody's, opinion being right or wrong, quote unquote, and race has very little to do with that. It plays a factor because of, bias, stuff like that, but, it doesn't play as big of a factor as this person seems to view it. Just because a black person says something about a black issue does not mean that that is the right opinion. So, who do we listen to then? No one. I mean, you should listen to people if you think that they're educated, but if you don't know who is and isn't educated, and you just want to, who cares? Make your own opinion, and if your opinion is bad, then that's not based on your race. That's literally just based on your opinion being bad. It's based on people's maturity levels, based on a lot of different things, like I said. If you have an opinion that's bad, like, for example, the opinion is bigoted, that's not based on your race. That's literally just based... Sure, bigoted opinions do have a lot to do with race, but race isn't... That doesn't mean that everybody of that race is going to have that opinion or is going to have a bias like that. You can't put people of this... Just because they're in the same race, you can't put them all in a generalized group and say, yeah, all these people believe this, or all these people are wrong about this. That is not how that works. That is extremely uneducated. People are individuals. Black people can be wrong. White people can be right. It has nothing to do with race. Sure, I mean, it has a little bit to do, I'm trying to say, but, in general, race plays a very little factor in these kinds of things, and I think that a lot of people who base their entire opinions on everything on the person's race and not on factors that matter a lot more. I think that those people need to kind of open their eyes and kind of see that people aren't just, you know, like, it's not just, like, it's like, it's a lot more than just race. And I think that a lot of people need to see that not everything is solely about race. A lot of things are a lot more important when it comes to this discussion than somebody's race. It's not just like, oh yeah, this person's black and they're talking about a black issue, which means they're right. No, you have to actually think, like, is this person right? There's black people who disagree with blackwashing. For example, Spooksy is a good example of somebody who just in general disagrees with blackwashing as a concept. And do you have to listen to Spooksy just because they're black? No, obviously. Do you have to listen to Thuman just because she's black? No. We should be making our own opinions and just not, like, being just... We shouldn't just be, like, people who are just basing our opinions on the people around us. Sure, we can do that to an extent, but we shouldn't just be doing that. It should be something, well, just incorporating different factors, our environment, like our experiences, blah blah blah, just our values. We should be incorporating so many things and not just this person told me it was okay. That's fucking robotic. That's a robotic way of thinking about life, about opinions. You can't just say, oh yeah, this person's right because of their race. That's not how that works. And if you think they're right and they happen to be of that race, great. But that's not because of their race. That's because you think they're right. And that's fine. You're allowed to. You're allowed to have an opinion that's not... You're allowed to have a mainstream opinion, but you're also allowed to have a non-mainstream opinion. Literally, why does this topic even matter so much? People are out here calling each other racist over this just meaningless topic. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's literally just, like, blackwashing, who cares? Who cares about blackwashing? Like, I don't care that much. I only talk about it because I feel like I want people to understand where I'm coming from. I have an opinion on it because, of other people's opinions being so strong that I feel like I need to match their level so I can, compete with them and, you get what I'm saying? Like, I only seem like I'm so passionate about this because of people calling each other racist over it. Like, who cares? Blackwashing is such a dumb thing to argue about. Honestly. Why are people calling each other racist over this? And sure, this person I don't think is calling me racist, but there are a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, who have called me racist over it. And it's so uneducated. It's so stupid. Nobody knows what racism means. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have an amazing day. Goodbye.